What would you say was your biggest takeaway from the film?
Oh my gosh, it was really a powerful experience for me. The biggest takeaway for me was going in and saying, okay, we want to see if there's evidence of these big 30,000-foot miracles, the medical miracles that we hear about so often. I walked away very challenged because the evidence was monumental in the cases that we looked at. But then also the secondary piece of that was being deeply challenged myself in my own faith and wondering, have I believed enough? Have I fought enough? Have I trusted God enough for even the moments when those miracles don't happen? So it's such a multifaceted issue, but really eye-opening for me, truly.
I find the whole subject absolutely fascinating. Do you have one example in the film that really just stuck with you?
I do. I mean, there were so many, but there was a guy who had been dead for 40 minutes, and it's just an insane story. He had been dead for 40 minutes, and a doctor felt called to go back, even though the death had been called. He was on his way to the morgue to go back and say, hey, I'm going to pray over this guy. And they shocked the guy one more time. His heartbeat came back. Not only did his heartbeat come back after 40 minutes, but he is completely healthy today and fine. We interviewed him in the documentary. I mean, there were so many cases like that where there was no scientific explanation of what was unfolding. And yet here were these people who were healed and whole. And so that's just one of the many examples.
That's absolutely unbelievable. Okay, so what would you say to those who are skeptical and don't really believe in miracles?
I think, first of all, it's important to have some skepticism, even as Christians. We don't want to believe every single thing that comes across our desk without knowing that it's actually true, that it's based on fact. So I think having some level of skepticism, we went into these cases with skepticism. And my view was, you need to prove this to me, right? Prove to me that these miracles happened. And so that's a healthy thing. But I think for the people in the Christian camp and then in the atheist secular camp who reject that miracles are happening today, the biggest thing is when you have evidence and it's pointing you towards an answer, are you going to reject what that answer is simply because you don't understand it or it doesn't fit a framework? Or are you going to be open to the fact that perhaps something else is going on? And so I think, for me, that was the big sort of takeaway. And I would say this is a challenge. I want to hear from the atheists, from even Christians who don't believe in miracles. Watch the film. You can go to cbn.com/supernatural. After you watch it, give me your critiques. What I found is a lot of people have been deeply compelled by what they see in the film.